One interesting thing about the decor here, these paintings were all done by my mother. When I was a child, we camped all across the United States. Family, dogs, pulling a trailer. We drove to Alaska. I've been to every state and every province in Canada. And when we were camping, my mother would paint landscapes of the different campsites we stayed at. So all of these are places that we had gone to when I was a child, and my mother painted them. And when she passed away, I got them and I wanted a way to display them, and I thought this was the perfect way to do it. We have the Grand Canyon. We've got some campsites down in Arkansas that we went to, and all around the country.
Hello, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Met up with John today. John has a really cool DIY camper van conversion he's gonna give us a tour of today. And this van is jam-packed with features. So join us.
Hey Patrick, really excited to share my van with you and your viewers. I spent the last 10 months of COVID lockdown building this, and it is a RAM Promaster 2500. It is the 136 wheelbase with a high top. I chose that because it is my daily driver, and so I wanted it to fit in a regular parking space. But with that, I also had to do some creative things with the way I designed the interior. We are not van lifers. My wife and I use this, we're weekend warriors. We take our dogs, we go camping, so we designed this to fit our lifestyle. And it's got a really cool layout in my opinion. I've got a bed that can convert from either a twin out to a full size. We've got kind of a center living space, and then we've got our lagoon table, which we use both as the armrest between the seats, because in a RAM Promaster there is no armrest on the passenger side, but that also can swing around and become our dining table when we're dining in the van. One of the key things I did when I came up with this design was I did not put a kitchen in the main living space, because I am a professional chef. I do outdoor catering, live fire cooking, and I wanted to have a slide out outdoor kitchen, which we can check out in the back. But right now, let's step inside. So this is our base table with the swivel. You can see it's got our coffee cup holders in it, and that can go in between our seats when the front swivel seats are facing forward. I also sometimes take my lunch break in the van when I'm working, and I will use it like an airline table and just bring it out here to eat my lunch by myself. When we do eat inside the van as a couple, I designed a top to go onto this, and I'll show you how that works. So the top is stored here. I made it with these clips that attach it. It goes on pretty easily. I just slide that down. And the other one's over here. And if you look at the table, you'll notice that it is not square. It's a pentagon shape, because we couldn't get the two seats to face each other directly. So with this shape, we each can be sitting at the table head on, but we're kind of angled to each other. So we have all this space. And we'll actually go out during COVID when the restaurants were only doing takeout. We used to do what we called van dates, where we would go get takeout from a restaurant and then park somewhere scenic along a lake or down by the beach and just have our little date here in our kind of private little space. And then up here in the front cabin area, we have our privacy curtains. These just come over and slide like this. I have some little S-hooks right there. And then the other one here, once I slide this across, this hooks back up here. And then this one goes like that. And we come all the way around and we got our privacy curtain. Up here, for the storage area, this is where I keep our Reflectix window covers to keep the sun out. I covered it with this cargo net, which works really great to keep all the stuff from sliding out. Got other stuff in there, board games and things like that. It's kind of a cubby on the Promaster that needs some sort of cover, otherwise everything will fly out. And then the other thing is I made it where it has pockets in it, so I can store extra things like umbrellas, hats, etc. ceiling, I've got thin slate insulation covered with 1/4-inch maple plywood. And these lights, I actually built those myself. I took some puck lights and cut an oversized hole, and then I cut these trim rings so that we have a recessed light. And these are all USB powered, so very low voltage. Additional storage up here. Again, just stuff that we want to have quick access to, books. Got some extra bags and things like that. I can put the snow brush in the wintertime in there, stuff like that. Then over here we have our sink, which has got a foot-powered pump off of a sailboat, so you can wash your hands. Paper towel roll is right here. And I've got 3 gallons of fresh water and 3 gallons of gray. And these are strapped together so that when you're driving, they don't go moving all over the place. I've got a just a little cassette butane burner in case it's raining and we don't want to cook outside. We can still throw that up and make some soup or some hot coffee or something like that. I've added this little workspace, which just flips out like that, and then we can put that on top, and if we need to cook it inside if the weather's bad. Cabinets, for the upper cabinets here, got gas struts and positive latches on them. And same with this one. So I haven't finished. I need to put a shelf in here. There's still a lot of little things that I'm working on. All right, so some of the other features that we have in the van, like I said, I wanted to be as minimalist with energy use. So all of the lighting is USB powered, so it's only 5 volt instead of 12. Switches are up here for the different sections. I've got multiple USB ports around. I've got a power delivery port so you could charge like an iPad. I've got another one of those up here, and we have some outside USB string lights that we use, and they can plug in here so we can have lighting outside. Down here is our toilet, just your basic porta potty style. I liken it to a fire extinguisher. It's something that we have to have, but I hope we never use. So it has never been used, but it's there for emergencies. And then additionally, I have built a 12 volt heating system, which is kind of interesting. And the idea of it is it's got a water container there that heats up from a 12 volt element, and then it has a circulating pump that sends it up to a radiator up by our bed area. And what happens with that is it can keep just the bed area warm for us at night, about 20 to 25 degrees warmer than the outside. And we have this curtain that we pull across, and that helps just keep the heat in. So that area can be, we were out camping in April, it went down into the 30s at night, and it kept the area around the bed in the low 60s, which was comfortable enough for us. I wouldn't take it to Alaska in the wintertime, but it works for the way we use it. Back to the toilet, I'll show you how I designed this, because like I said, it is only for emergencies. We are, weekend warriors staying at campsites with their bathroom facilities, but if we were in a real panic, again, the same latches that I used for the tabletop go like this, and then this can lift out and we have access to the toilet. So that's how that works. The flooring that we did for this is tongue and groove plywood. What I did was I purchased a custom fit bed liner, and then I used that as a template. And when we go around to the back, you'll actually see where that liner is in there, and it's the insulation for the floor. But I laid it out on top of the plywood and cut around it, and then I got a perfectly matched floor that fits directly, and you can see how every curve, every notch out fit exactly because I used that custom cut floor liner as a template. I put some additional storage over here. So this is a slide out cabinet system here. So we have little cubby holes. I have a place where we keep the dog's items. I've got, bungee cords, tools, etc. So that's what that's for. And then this whole thing can slide away, and and it has a positive lock so it doesn't slide out when you're driving. This also can be removed. I put it in with these thumb screws, and there's a very specific reason for that. As I said, this is my daily driver, and I still have times when I need to transport something large. So we wanted a fixed bed, but I also knew I needed to be able to get it out of the way if I had to transport, say, a sheet of plywood or a mattress or something like that. So the bedding can come out, and the end of the bed only is like a Murphy bed. Folds up, and this will fold down. I have in the back there what I call the Hobbit door. So if I fold both of these up, I have tie downs to keep them in place. I can open that door, and I can transport a full sheet of plywood, mattress, any kind of long item, etc. Additionally, the bed converts so it can slide back and be just a twin bed, or when it's pulled out for the two of us, it's a little bit larger than a full size. Here I added, this is actually the banister from a set of stairs. Anyone who's slept on mattresses in vans know that every time you jump in and out of bed, they slide off. So this just keeps it from sliding out when you're getting in and out of bed. We have a grab handle up here to help getting in. This is, I have a Renogy battery monitor. I also have thermostat with multiple sending units, so I can put these in different places. I can have one outside, so I know the outside temperature. I actually take one and put it inside my cooler so that I can monitor the temperature of my food. I'm a chef. I think about food safety all the time, so I can do that. And I can read all those on the display right here. So as I said, I always think about safety first. So I have a first alert fire and carbon monoxide detector here. And then over here are the controls that operate the heating system when we use it. And over here we have some additional storage for clothing and bedding and things like that. Again, on the gas struts. This is mostly light items, so I didn't feel the need to actually put positive latches. There is a little lip here, so nothing can really fall out. On this side, my wife wanted a place for her to put her phone when it was charging at night, so I built a little cubby hole there. That also has a lip, so things don't slide out. We have our Max Air fan that I installed. Scariest moment of my life was cutting a giant hole in the roof of my van, but it works great. Keeps us cool, and it doesn't leak, so I like that. What's the thing that everybody always says that I watch a lot of DIY van videos on YouTube, and the things that people always say they regret? I forgot garbage, and I forgot a place to put our laundry. So I got a little, this is just a ring that you can slip a garbage bag into, so it just hangs behind my chair when I'm driving. And then underneath the bed, I put another cargo net here, and we have a couple of laundry bags, so we can just throw that there. Little hook, keep it up, and I'm using that wasted space under the bed and above the dog's crate. So this is where our dog stays. So we'll step outside, and I'll show you the part that I'm most happy with over here, which is our slide-out kitchen. And I put a lot of features into this as well. Again, chef, gotta wash my hands. So the first thing I did was I created a second sink. This is a collapsible sink. Got a little drain hose on it. This goes here. And then I have a collapsible bucket and a different pump for the water. This is actually also USB powered. Let me just slide this around. And so this is meant to go on top of one of those big 5-gallon water bottles. But what we do is I've got a 2.5-gallon jug here that I hooked this up to, and wash my hands. And over here for the kitchen, gotta have paper towels, you know, you gotta try to think of everything. And then, so for our slide-out kitchen, it is a 48-inch full extension slide. We have our little pantry box with all of our dry goods. It doesn't have to be refrigerated. That'll just live right there. This is my flip up spice rack, knife block. Our utensils are here, all held in place with bungees and straps so that they don't fly out. I've got my kettle and my Dutch oven. I do a lot of Dutch oven live fire cooking. I'm hoping to actually maybe do some videos of my own on that kind of stuff in the future. We've got our stainless steel countertops and a 2-burner Camp Chef Ranger stove. I like this because this is very similar to an actual commercial burner system. It's very, very powerful. These are like, I think it's 18,000 BTUs, so way more powerful than a conventional camping stove. And then there is a brass quick connect here for our propane tank, so I can unhook the bottle, and then when I need to attach it, I just pop it on there with a little quick connect. Additional storage under here for some of our pots and pans. I've got our plates and bowls are stored up here, along with our little tablecloth for when we eat out. And then all my utensils are on these molly straps. So I can have all these, and I drive around with this all the time. I've never had one fall. It works really, really great. So, and if you remember that Hobbit door that I talked about for passing long items through, this opens up like so, and you can see we have the full length of the van. Like I said, that cabinet can be removed without the use of tools in about 30 seconds. This screws out with a couple of thumb screws. So when we're camping, we decided not to go with like a refrigerator. We're only going for a few days at a time, so we use a cooler. I've got a, this is a Coleman Extreme. We use block ice because it lasts a lot longer. We actually took it out for a trip to Lake Champlain with one large block of ice, and it actually lasted us 9 days. I was amazed. So that worked out really good. Additional things we have back here in the rear, that fire extinguisher we always have to have close to the kitchen just in case. And then we have our electrical system over here. Again, I was looking to be very minimalist. We're not using a lot of power. The only 12-volt device in the entire van is the Max Air fan. Everything else works off of USB, only 5 volts. I have I've got 40 amp hours of lithium-ion battery, and that's expandable up to 120. I've got our shore power charger here. I just got this DC to DC charger so that we can charge the batteries while we're driving the van. And these all have quick connects. I've got additional USB here. These are going to be the power in for the DC charger, and that other one will be for when I eventually go to having solar. And our power system here, if you look at it, it might look familiar. It's actually a toolbox, just picked up at the local home center, and I drilled the holes, I got the switches, ordered almost everything off of Amazon, and I was able to create my own little essentially solar generator once we hook solar up to it in the future. All right, so when we're done cooking and we want to close this up, it's very easy and quick to do. I just put these dish towels down to keep anything from getting scratched. Have another one here for the cooktop. This folds over. Tea kettle goes here. It actually hangs on that so it doesn't slide around. There is a little aluminum lip here. I also put this bar in, which is designed to have the legs of the Dutch oven sit right on there, so again it doesn't move around when we're driving. We'll pick up our pantry box, bring it up here. That goes in and locks, and close up the door, and right here is our shore power connector. Again, very low, so we're only doing like whatever it is, 15 amp service. If we do have like very sunny weather, or if it's raining, I can suspend a tarp over the top of this so we have some covering, and I also sometimes put one off of the front door, just coming straight out with a couple of poles and guide down to the ground with rope. This is our screen door. This is a Magzo is the brand. I saw another DIY van person who had used it. It's slightly larger, so I did have to cut it down, and it can be removed with Velcro if necessary. And it has magnets in the two sections that snap together. It auto closes itself. Up top, I put a rain gutter, just because water would kind of wick around and come into the inside. And then on the end of it, I attached a, that is actually a rear view camera, but I attached it on the side because with no side window, this van has a terrible blind spot. Found myself at times not being able to know if anyone was coming at me from like my 5 o'clock position. So that is wired in, and there is a monitor here so that I can see a 180 view of the side of the van when I'm driving.
John, thank you very much for taking the time today to give us a tour of your DIY camper van. Now, we first met about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
And you were in the process of building it, but you were actually camping in it and doing your test run so you could make final adjustments.
Yeah, we did 2 trips that way during the course of the build. We took one very early on last fall. I bought the van in the beginning of August, started working on it in October. We took a trip up to Lake Champlain and stayed in some of the state parks up there. We found things we liked, we didn't like. We discovered we were tripping over the laundry hamper, so we did the little thing underneath. And then we took another trip when it was closer to finished and really kind of worked out the kinks. And, you know, we made it livable to the point where we could utilize it even though it wasn't 100%. And that's how we kind of perfected all those little small touches, just kind of working it out and figuring out what worked and what needed to get improved.
That's what's great about these DIY camper vans, is that if you do need to change things, it's not like you're tearing apart the whole entire van. The way you've done this with the hooks and latches and bungees is unbelievable. The amount of hours that it took you to think about all this stuff. How many hours did you just sit in the van looking at it and thinking of stuff?
A lot of times. There were times where I took the dog and went out into the van and sat down. She jumped up on the bed and we just sat there and we just looked around and trying to figure out how can I do this? How can I make this work better? You know, I have a full-time job, so I was only doing this, you know, a few hours a week. So it took me 10 months to get it to this stage, but I'm really, really happy with the way it came out.
So you invest a lot of thought and labor into it. What about money? Is this a budget build?
I added up all of the bills on it, and the total conversion came to about $5,000. So I bought the van brand new, which was about $35,000 roughly. So, you know, we got to this point for around 40 grand all in.
So now that it's all done, you're out there using it and cooking. I know you've done some trial runs and you made some changes. If you had to start from scratch and build a whole new one, is there any like one major thing you would do differently?
I would say the one thing I would do differently is I would have figured out all of my electrical before I started putting up the wall paneling. So I have not drilled any holes in the van. So everything that is up here is attached to existing anchoring points in the ProMaster. All of these D-rings and everything are going to threaded inserts, 8mm threaded inserts. So I pulled those out and I utilized those. I put framing members in and then screwed into the wooden framing. So I can actually take every panel off the van and disassemble it. When I decided to do some of the electrical things differently, I wanted more USB ports. I had to take the panels off the wall. It wasn't too hard to do, but I think you know, knowing what I know now, I would have spent more time like laying out and drawing a diagram of all the electrical components before I started putting up the wall paneling.
And then the heating system that you have here, I'm not familiar with that. So maybe some of my viewers aren't either. Can you explain that a little bit more in detail?
It basically works very much like a home baseboard radiator system. So there's a water tank, you heat water, and then you pump that water through radiators, and then what happens is the hot water goes through all those little fins and it exchanges with the outside air, so the heat comes out of the water and into the air, and then that water, which is cooled down, goes back down and gets heated again, and you just keep circulating it.
And behind that radiator, there's some type of fan, or is it just radiant heat that comes off?
I do have a fan in there. I think it's not powerful enough, so I probably want to like pull that off and upgrade it to something. But it will blow a little bit. It's just a USB powered computer fan, so it blows a little bit, and it works okay. Like I said, we were very, very comfortable even when the nights were getting down into the 30s when we were out at Turkey Swamp in April, and I'm pretty happy. Like I said, I wouldn't take it to Alaska in January.
I know you mentioned that you wanted to get into cooking videos on YouTube. I don't believe that's set up yet.
No, I haven't set that up yet, but it's something that I'm looking into.
So if our viewers wanted to follow you, because you've done some awesome things with this fan, a lot of ideas I've never seen before. I probably do about 50 to 70 of these videos a year, and I've never seen some of the stuff that's in here. How are they going to be able to follow you?
Well, I have a Facebook page for my catering business. It's Have Grill Will Travel. And I also have an Instagram page, which is HGWT_catering. So if people want to follow me there as we get into our adventures, I'm sure you're going to see some cool content. And once I get my YouTube up, I'll announce it there.
I'll make sure I put the links in the description. John, thank you very much for coming out on this very hot day here. Well, this is Patrick with New Jersey's Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, comment, share, and subscribe. I love it, and we'll see you soon.